Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Vkey Melody back once again. So I've been getting this particular guy on this channel since over a year. He has been asking me to do a review of how I mix my beats, of how I mix my low end, of how I mix everything. So I decided to use this opportunity to do this quick one. It's going to be lengthy, but I think you'll grab one or two stuff from there. So do well to like the video so that it will get more exposure, because the more you like and comment, drop comments, it helps the video to go viral, and that's the little support you can do. Understand? So let's head straight into the video and see what we did here. Okay, this is actually a beat I made when I was in the mood. I'm going to play a little bit version of the beat, and if you also want to purchase the beat, you could contact me, or the link will be in the description where you can purchase any of the beat that I've made. Let me just play some few sections of the beat.
Lamba.
So I wouldn't waste much of the time. I'll just go straight and show you how I started the beat. I actually use double screen, but for the sake of this video, I had to drag my playlist screen out from this other side because uh, the screen recorder will not be able to see it. And the two screens are connected. So the first thing I did was I had in this beat was this. And how I got this was a loop. There was a producer on Instagram that played a guitar loop and said, let's see what you can do with this loop. So I downloaded the sound from there, and this is what it sounds like originally. This is what it sounds like originally. So the first thing I did here was to chop off some of these some parts of the sample where you see I was slicing off some endings, these picks where the frets of the guitar was hitting. It wasn't nice in my ear. It was distracting my instrument. I had to cut it off. Then I pitched it up a little bit. To change the key of the sample. I didn't want it to be exactly the key that he played in. Understand? In case of copyright issues, I was trying to avoid, because once you upload an instrumental like this and someone else uploads the other one he did, it will see it as the same audio. So I sliced that out, and the next thing I added here was an EQ. Cut off the lows, cut off the highs. It boosted a little bit of the 2K region. Understand? So do well to use your headphones. Don't watch through your phones or your laptop, because you won't get the whole concept of this whole stuff. And most times when I'm mixing my beat, you see me doing mostly rolling off the lows, because I'm creating room for my kick and my bass. Every time I have this in my mind all the time, I always cut off there around 100, because I know that's the dominant area where the bass and the kick. And if you mess up that frequency, the whole sound is messed up. It's easy to get the low frequencies very wrong. So that was the first thing I did. Then I brought in a two-tech compressor. So it became more up to your front and a little bit audible, and everything could be heard, like killing some of the high peaks and just making it a little bit more even, so you hear it throughout in any part of the instrumental. Because sometimes if you don't compress important sounds in your instrumental, when you start adding more sounds, that important sound gets overridden and get lost in some part. But when you use compressor, you're making sure that it's always there and nothing is overshadowing it. Understand? Most times I compress my dominant sounds. I call them dominant. Some sounds are supplementary, some that just add a little bit to the. There are some sounds you hear, there are some sounds you feel. So those ones I want to be heard, I usually compress them so that they will stay in your front, in your face. That's the tip there. So the next thing I added there was the retro color RC20 just gave it a little bit white noise, some wobble, some distortion, a little bit, and some magnetic. Felt like the tape machine they used to record in the old time. Then I sent it to my reverb. Reverbs are very, very important because in real life, every sound is recorded in a space. So you have to use reverb to put that sound in the world, in the real world. Most of those sounds dry. More like if you did physics, you see, we are in a vacuum. But we are not in a vacuum, we are in a room where it's that you play sounds in the cathedral where you hear those echoes. So every environment has a kind of reverb and echo it adds to a natural sound. So moving on from there, moving on, I added my shaker. So another tip in making instrumental is also choosing the right sounds, choosing the right samples. I'll be dropping some of my packs, like my picks, my snare, my stuff like that, some shakers that, and some other percussions. I will be dropping them very soon, so you guys should stay. Most of those sounds will be already treated, so you wouldn't be EQing and doing a lot of stuff. So do well to subscribe, turn on notification button. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere you see at Vkey Melody, so you stay up to date whenever I do those stuff. So if you hear the shaker spanning from left to right, I've already treated this in a different project. Like I did this shaker with an effect, then I exported it and saved it for future use. You get so. So I brought in this guy. I have this is Lounge Lizard. This is an electric piano. Then the second sound is from Titron, I guess. I love Titron a lot. And this is a cupped muted trumpet. You know those trumpets that are cupped, like muted. So I used both of them. And that was it. The next thing I added, this guy, he's a VFX. It was my voice. It was I sent it to. It was something like this. Yeah, so before I just did added an EQ, cut off most of the frequencies, just left with the mid telephone frequency. I'll call it. So the next thing I brought in was a compressor. I used the same tube compressor. And I brought in auto tune. At that point, I had to send it to the delay. I have a delay send and a reverb. Then if you watch on my playlist here, if you watch on my playlist, you observe that I have an automation here. And this automation happened on this. I was automating this plugin actually. This is a pitch proof. So it's off at this moment, but once it gets to the next bar after the first 4 bar, in the next bar, the plugin activates. So I wanted to have two flavors of that same sample, but I wanted something different on it. So you see what it sounds like. So with the whole instrumental, it now sounds like. At that point, I think I brought in my percussion. I brought in my percussion. I was actually using two rim shots, right, to knock. Understand? And I was using a stick, then two thumbs. I'm using two thumbs. My percussion this thing was just very simple. And I added a little bit of swing. Afrobeat usually requires some swing. Understand? So it was sounding like. But then I brought in. This was my kick. This is the kick, but I just chopped it before the song starts. I chopped. I just wanted the first instance of the kick to come. To keep like what's coming, to keep them waiting. Then the next thing I added a sub. This sub is coming from Hypersonic. I use old plugins actually, but it doesn't matter what I use. Sometimes, most times, the instrumentals I do, I use stock plugins throughout, and they sound amazing. For instance, I was using Hypersonic, the sub. So with Hypersonic, it was sounding.
Lamba.
So when you hear Lamba, you know that it's me. I give you the Lamba. With that, I just added a little bit of rolls and some claps. Most times I create my rolls by myself. After creating them, I save it. And this roll was coming from Contact. So at this point, I added in after the first 8 bars. You have to keep introducing more stuff as your sound is progressing. So I added a conga, but there's some technical stuff I did at this point that I'm going to highlight. I wouldn't be hiding any information right now. You hear boom boom boom. That's the conga. Is a default conga from FL Studio actually. From the packs, you see this 808 conga. Then on the lower octave, that's where I played that. So, but then I sent it to 15. I sent it to the mixer channel 15. Then if you watch on my mixer channel 15, now see what happened there. The reason why we choose to do what we do as mix engineers, because I mix vocals, I mix and master stuff. In case you have projects you want me to handle for you, you hit me up too. So we always, every frequency works with reference to another frequency. So you have to, every guy has to be respected. That's the way I say it. I'm trying to explain it in a layman's understanding. Yeah, so there's a sub in the low frequency. And this 808 is also going to be in the low frequency. The low frequency can easily be messed up. So what I did here was to do some sidechain. I clicked here. If you click like on, I want to use my 808 to trigger a compressor in my sub. So what you do, like if you want to do that, you just click and click send sidechain to this chart. So that was what I did here, and you can see there is a wire connected. Means that this sub is listening to information from this channel here. So then I came to my sub. Before then, in my sub was sounding like this actually. Then what happened there was I added distortion. It's always good to add distortion to your bass or your sub, anyone, so that it can be represented in your phone speakers, laptop speakers, and the rest. So let me just show you. There is an EQ here. I didn't do anything with the EQ. I just used it to. I wanted to use it to show you what I was doing. Distortion adds upper harmonics to your signal. Let me just turn off the distortion. Just look at the frequency distribution here. You see, so when I activate this, see, I'm getting more signal here, and this is the frequency where phones and laptops are being. But I mixed it down. When you mix down distortion, it becomes saturation. But when you take saturation to 100%, it becomes distortion. So let me just exaggerate and show you what. see I'm having more upper harmonics, but I just mixed it down till I was satisfied. Because you wouldn't want to introduce more upper harmonics where vocals will stay and some other instruments. So I brought it down to like 47%. Then back to our side chain. After sending um, this signal from my 808, where's my 808? From here. So now I came to like the last slot here, almost the last slot, because I wanted you have to add this after you've added all your processor. So then I switched this the Fruity limiter, the default plugin. I switched it from limiter to compressor. Then on the side chain is asking you where do you want it to take information from. So if you right click, you see your 808 conga here. Then you select it. Then I used this is a compressor now. I used a ratio of 3:1. Then I was compressing anytime the 808 conga hits, the volume of the sub will be docked down so that there won't be clashing. You know, when you have low frequencies clashing, your sub or your speakers will vibrate. Those kind of stuff you hear on unprofessional mixed instrumentals or beats. So you just look at this place. See, these signals now are coming from the 808. Those boom boom boom. You understand? Those three signals docking down the sub. You understand? So if you also look at my meter here, you also see anytime the 808 hits, boom, 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 you see the volume of this going down a little bit so that there won't be any clash. Yet, so we move on. Subscribe. At this point, if you've not subscribed after getting so much information, I guess that's wickedness. So, but we move on. So I didn't clap. This clap is I think I sent it to 14, but there's nothing there, no reverb. It's already been reverbed already. So it's gonna be among some of the stuff you get from the packs when I drop them. So after this bar, in the next bar, I brought in one of my favorite instruments, the violin. Like I wanted to add a little bit of emotion to the instrumental, and violin and strings do the magic. And any instrumental that is a string instrumental, are emotional, spiritual. Oh my lord. So that was it. And when I was going to the chorus, I used a riser just to go into. And I brought in another emotional and sorrowful sound, the flute. The flute. Panned it to the right. So when I had my my violin panned to the left, so there will be balance in the mix. You understand? The violin is playing in your left speaker. If you are using earpiece, you notice it's playing in the left speaker, then the flute is playing in the right. Then that was in the chorus. And then the next thing I changed was I used another sub. I think it's a default plugin, if I'm correct. I use a default plugin. Citrus default plugin is also a sub. But look what I did there. I wanted the sub in the verses and the sub in the chorus to be different. So I added it. See so that's the reason why I used default plugin actually. That's the reason I use default plugin, because when you use third-party plugins, they won't allow you to do this what is it called? I've forgotten the name. This slow, bass slow. So get the idea. Then also in my sub in the in the chorus sub, I had distortion on it. It was actually I used Sound Toys Decapitator, another mad distortion plugin too. So I used that. Then uh, I had my sidechain now. I had my kick. And I also sent my kick to that part. So when the kick hits, that bass or that sub will be ducking down a little bit. The same way I did for the first one. Where is my kick so I can activate? So that was pretty much it. Till the beat was just done. I didn't add too much instruments because the next magic that will come has to come from the vocal. I have to give the vocalists the room to do their magic. You understand? So at this point, I added this Amapiano cymbal. Then I came here and reversed it. I clicked on reverse. See, and it had to be like this. So that was pretty much it. Nothing else. That was all. So do well to subscribe. Hit me up if you need any of my services, beats, recording. Depending on where you are, you can also send your files, your mix for me to get it mixed and mastered. So we negotiate and discuss. So see you guys next time.